Hey everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Esther Amos, and in today's video, I'm talking about 5 books that influenced my decision making at some point in my life this year. And so, the first book I'm going to be talking about is Show Your Work by Cleon. So, during my sideways, I asked ChatGPT to recommend short books on creativity, short ones that I'll be able to read, and it recommended this same Show Your Work, and I was like, oh. Okay, since I already saw someone I follow reading the book, that means it must be nice. And so I picked it up and I started to read it. And it was during my service when I was coming back very late from work. I would go to work by 7 a.m. and I'll come back late. And for like 2 weeks, that was the only thing I was doing in my life. So I hated it. I hated the fact that I could not read anything. I could not do any other thing. So I was trying to stretch myself that period. And so when I would come back from work by 8, I would still stay up for an extra 2 hours just to squeeze some knowledge into my head. And thank God I did that, because I was able to read, and at some point I was even able to post consistently on my Instagram till they disabled it. I have a new one, but back to the book. I started reading the book, and one thing I remember from the book that helps me even now is the analogy he gave. So the analogy was treat your life like you have only 6 months to live. I know you don't have 6 months to live, but hear me out. I was like, okay, looking at yourself right now, let's say you want to do something, you have ideas you have not executed, or whatever it is you want to do in your creative journey, and you've not done it. I should look at yourself and ask that if you had 6 months to live, would you be okay dying in this state? Would you be okay dying with the number of ideas that you have executed? Would you be happy if you died at this point in your life? Would you have enough work to show that, oh, you actually lived or you passed through this earth? And that's one thing that keeps me on my toes. So I'm like, okay, if I have 6 months to live, I'll do this and that. So just outline the things that you would do, the ideas that you would push out, the videos you would make, the things you would write if you only had 6 months to live. There's that. And the second book is The Almanac of Naval Ravikant. This book was recommended, so still during my service that I read this book, and that was around April May time. And so this book was supposed to teach me about business, because it was recommended by someone I follow in the entrepreneurship and business space. But the lesson I got from the book cannot be all. I didn't relate it to business immediately, because the example he gave was about him and his current wife. It was like, oh, that he has been on many dates with many people, but the person he eventually ended up with was only possible because of the other people he had been with. So the other people he had been with opened his eyes to things about himself he needed to work on, things he needed to change, and all of that. So he became better for the person he ended up with. So like, if you are taking action in a particular direction every day, you do not know the exact action that will yield the result that will change your life. And that's why you have to keep going, because you do not know. Yeah, what did they say? You do not know the strike that will break the stone. There's one proverb like that. So you do not know or when you're cutting a tree, so you don't know the blow that will finally make the tree fall. That kind of thing. The third book is I Kissed Dating Goodbye. I also read this during my service period. So this book, the first time I heard about this book was during a meeting or a call with one of my mentors. He was like, oh, he read this book when he was younger, and it gave him a perspective on dating that kept him grounded till he was actually ready to get married. And the title was very daunting and scary at first, but I eventually read the book because but at the point I was like, you know what, I'm done with dating, I'm not even interested. And reading the book had so many contrary ideas to the advice that you see everywhere about dating. In the book, there are 2 things that stood out to me. First one was when he was like, imagine you're getting married finally, and on the wedding day, all the people that you've dated and all the people that your spouse or the person you're getting married to dated is behind them and is accusing them of not keeping the promises they made. Because obviously, when you're in a relationship with someone, you make lots of promises. You make promises like, oh, I'll never leave you, blah blah, and all those things that you guys say. And then it was like, imagine your wedding day, all those people come out and they are accusing you and your spouse of not keeping the promises you made, of everything that you did. That would you be proud? And how many people will be able to come out and say that about you? Because there are many people that enter a lot of dating relationships. Like, how is somebody always in a relationship every time you talk to them? He also spoke about how this dating thing feels like window shopping, and he was like, he doesn't see the point of going for window shopping when you don't have the money to buy what you want to buy. Like, you're just going to check it on the shelf, put it back, and then go back to your house. That doesn't make sense. That just when you have the money, you go to the store and pick up what you want to get. And then he related it to dating. He was like, you yourself know that you cannot get married right now. You can't even marry yourself. But yet, you'll be looking for relationships to be inside. You'll be looking for relationships to get into, basically. It was like, there's no need that people use dating as an excuse just to engage in sexual activities these days. That you can get to know a person, being friends with them. You don't have to have these specific labels, except you guys are both ready to get married. If you want to get to know a person, you don't necessarily have to date them, because dating in a way makes you isolate yourself from other people, because like, oh, I want to get to know this person better, and so you are dating and you neglect your other friends and other activities. So the whole point of the book was basically see any man or sister as a brother and a friend until you're ready to settle down. Yeah, until you're ready to settle down. And that book really helped me. It gave me a whole new perspective to dating that I didn't know I needed. And I really wished I read the book earlier. I would not have gotten into so many troubles. So the fourth book I read is The Mountain Is You by, I think, Brianna West. So this book, I always see it on Pinterest. Like, you see book recommendations, this book will always be there. And in my head, I'm like, how can the mountain be me? It can't be me. I can't be the problem. And so I finally saw this book on someone's status on WhatsApp. And I was like, okay, maybe I'll read this book. But I didn't still read the book until I was asking ChatGPT to recommend short books for me that I could read after work. And they also recommended this one. And so I read the book and I was like, Jesus. Oh my days. The problem can actually be you. So one thing, it gave many incredible concepts about how we can sabotage our happiness by some things that we do that we think are harmful, but they are actually not harmful and they harm us. So one thing she said that stood out to me was talking bad about others. So let's see, okay, people want to be liked, like it's a good thing when people like you. So she was like, let's say you want to be a well-known influencer with a large community, a large and faithful community and all the good stuff, but then you are not yet that person and there's someone that you look up to in that field. But then if you keep talking bad about the person, it's not going to help you, because every bad thing that you say about the person, you are training your mind to associate that position with those bad things. So what you're not doing to yourself subconsciously is that, oh, if I get to the point of being that influencer, people are going to say bad things about me. I don't want to say bad things about me. And that's how you never put in the work to be that influencer that you want to be. So she was like, talking bad about others in a position that you would like to be in is a way you sabotage yourself from working to get to that point. So yeah, that really stood out to me. And then the last book I read this in May. It was hard copy. I don't have the hard copy right now without showing you guys. was Dream Cows by Chimamanda. So I also read other fiction, other Nigerian literature books this year. I read The Joys of Motherhood, The Orchestra of Minorities, Okadema. I almost read Nearly All the Men in Lagos Are Mad by Damilare Kuku, but I have not sat down to actually read it. But I saw the book. I think I read the first story. But yeah, back to Unicorn. So after 10 years of not writing, Chimamanda decides to come up with this book, and as God would have it, my best friend got it for me for my birthday, and I was so excited. So I read the book. I liked the story. I think Omelogo. No, I liked Chiamaka at first, but then as I started reading the book, I realized that Omolego, I think that's how to pronounce it. It's actually my favorite character. I liked how she lived life on her own terms, and she didn't let societal pressures make her do things she did not want to do. She was a very resolute woman, and I like that for her. I still remember like three things from the book, and number one is where she wrote, "Desire can exist without love." And this was the part where I think Chiamaka was always looking for love in the book. And in the end, she ended up not finding anybody. Because she was like, oh, desire can exist without love. That people can be attracted to you and desire you because of all your good traits and everything, but it doesn't translate to love. Do they have the patience to want to know you? Do they wake up and choose you every day? And all those good stuff. And it was something to think about. I'm sure you're thinking about it too. Then the second thing she said was where there's this other girl in the story, Zikora, where she gave birth and her mom came to see her in the hospital. And that was when her mom finally opened up about her marriage to her father and everything that she went through. And then she said that men, because the man that Zikora got pregnant for left her, said he's not the one. So she was like, that men say all kinds of things and it is what they do that matters. When I read that part of the book, it was as if I had never seen that thing before. And I'm sure I have. I'm sure I would have heard something like that. That, oh, only believe actions. And then later on, I was reading the Bible and I even saw something that now made me stand by it even more. It was like, do not love only in words, but also in deeds, because this is true love. Like, true love is expressed more in action than words. And so I was like, oh my days, this is going to be my modus operandi from now on. That's the correct full meaning. So I was like, well, she was telling her daughter, Sha, because obviously the man left her after saying so many sweet things, and she was like telling her for future. I don't think the girl is even going to look for any man in the future. So she was like, for future dates and whatever, her daughter should not fall for words if there is no action to back it up. And what she should even be looking at for more is action rather than words, because people can say all kinds of things driven by emotions, driven by desire, driven by attraction, and they'll just talk. But the only time you actually believe is when they act on what they say. So yeah, these are the books that I read this year that influenced my decision making at some point in my life. So tell me, what books did you read this year? Leave a comment. And what stood out to you in the books that you read? I'll be checking and reading the comments and probably add some of these books to my list of books to read. I also have a podcast on this channel and I drop new episodes every Sunday. There's a new episode on the channel, so check it out. A new episode will be dropping next week too. So thank you for watching. Bye.